Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes made of ticky-tack. Little boxes on the hillside, little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university, where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and there's lawyers and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry. They all have pretty children. The children go to school, and the children go to summer camp, and then to the university, where they are put in boxes. They come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in boxes made of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And welcome, folks. Sorry about that. That was me playing. I figured I'd put a little bit of music at the beginning. And that was just the little box that they try to put us in our minds in, you know, the box we have to think outside of. They like to give us all these limitations and all these, you know, it's where they want us to be, and we're not going to live in that little box anymore. How are you doing there, Lucas?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. You have a good week?
Yeah, no, it's been pretty good.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, that video clip was great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I just threw that together this morning. I don't know. I've been in a do something mood. I'm getting back into my experimenting and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm starting to get my juices flowing. Sorry about that. And we are also joined by Miss Cami Knodel. Cami, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing really good. I'm excited for this one. I'm learning so much, and I feel so in awe of this that I don't know how much I can contribute other than like pointing out the beautiful things on it. But this is something I've really been looking forward to all week. Thank you for inviting me on.
Well, thank you for coming, Cam. It's always a pleasure.
Hi, Cami. It's going to be good.
Hi, Lucas. How could it not be good? I've been looking at it. I've been playing with my little lighter in the garage and with the quartz crystals. How could this not be good? This is some of the purest. I mean, I know electricity is pure, but this is one of the purest ways to look at it. And when looking at it and seeing that you can hit a piece of quartz, make that spark creates a magnetic field. The way that it all folds together in beauty, and again, watching the mechanism on how this works, I'm excited.
Awesome.
All righty. Well, you know how we like to start the show here, folks. Just with showing you a quick little video, it's about a minute long, about how important electricity is and how it is a part of so many things of our life that we don't even really think about. So this is former MIT physics professor of 4 decades, Mr. Walter Lewin.
Electricity and magnetism is all around us. We have electric lights, electric clocks, we have microphones, calculators, televisions, VCRs, radio, computers. Light itself is an electromagnetic phenomenon, as radio waves are. The colors of the rainbow in the blue sky are there because of electricity, and I will teach you about that in this course. Cars, planes, trains can only run because of electricity. Horses need electricity because muscle contractions require electricity. Your nerve system is driven by electricity. Atoms, molecules, all chemical reactions exist because of electricity. You could not see without electricity. Your heart would not beat without electricity. And you could not even think without electricity, though I realize that even with electricity, some of you may have a problem with that.
So if you only know the name, you know nothing. One of my favorite quotes by Walter Lewin. I think that's one of his pokes at all these physicists and so-called scientists, that they know all the equations, they all know all these special scientific terms, but they don't comprehend any of it. One of my favorite teachers, if you would like to see some of his videos, he's still on YouTube. He just put a video out a couple days ago. He still does math problems, stuff like that. He just wants to teach. I mean, he loves teaching, and he still does it. That's Walter Lewin. I'll put that link in the description as well. But today we are going to talk about crystals. And tell me if I'm saying this right, Cami. Piezoelectric?
Piezoelectric, I think, is more correct, but I am not a good vocabulary coach because of the fact that I almost do everything reading, and when you do that, you tend to create your own pronunciations. In my mind, let's let the chat play with this one too, because I always thought it was piezoelectric.
I always called it piezoelectric.
I know, that's what I did too. And then I started spelling it like that. I did Piezi, like IOE, and it's not. It's PIE. What is it now? I don't even know. Yeah, I'm not good with all the spelling and all the stuff like that. That's just not my bag. Yeah, Piezo electric.
How about I don't know, Bob. So do you have access to the little vocabulary tab on your computer, or know why you're running the show because you're not doing multiple screens? Because that would tell us. Yeah,
well, I'm not going to worry about it. It'll be fine. It's electricity that involves crystals, and the way that it creates it is pretty amazing. What's your take on it, Cam? Before we start looking into all the videos and stuff, because they start talking electrons and this and that, and I've never seen an electron. I don't know if any of the stuff they're actually saying is happening. So I just wanted to hear it from you. What do you think is happening when you apply pressure to these crystals? What's making the electricity?
I see it as and see again, I don't visualize these atoms as particles. I see them as energy charges, almost like, again, the essence of, it's hard to put the words to it, but the essence of, again, the plus and minus charges, the polarity of it. What I see with piezoelectricity is you have everything, as far as when you're doing in minerals, everything grows in your platonic solids are your crystal shapes, or your again, your geometry of it. And your platonic solids are, again, that's when you look through it, that's how crystals grow, the shapes, the lattices, the arrangements. You look at the arrangements and you see when they're like perfectly aligned. Again, you can tell because you can cleave right through in areas. They have, again, so many different properties you can take apart and look to get to the arrangement, the way they handle light and that. So you do see the sacred geometry, platonic arrangement. This one, when you're looking at piezoelectricity, you're looking at silicon and oxygen, and silicon carries which I'm dyslexic, is that the negative charge or the positive charge? I see everything backwards in dyslexia sometimes. But you have one that's more overall positively charged, one that's overall negatively charged. And what they're saying is that in the lineup of certain things like quartz, for instance, you'll line these currents opposite each other, and when you stretch it out and pull them, you'll actually have like you show on your Venn diagram, an overall negative and positive charge potential there. So you create electricity between them. How is that? Can you draw a better picture? Or, I mean, that's my visual on it. And I see it in the crystals taking place. It's beautiful. So you have to have, again, it tells you that it'll only work in a certain angle. You can't hit it anywhere. I see the feel of the charges, but again, I don't see them as little particles bumping bodies. I see them more as, again, the charge potential of the item.
So it's almost like little magnets that are lined up in a specific geometry. Is that how you're sort of viewing it?
In such a way, because again, the magnets, you have the magnetics, you always have the positive, negative, and this you're actually making the geometric arrangements of it. And then when you create the arrangements that you get, again, where you're lopsided and have a positive charge potential on one side and a negative on the other, where the overwhelming elements look like that, again, you create that Venn diagram type of energy.
Yeah, and so when you're actually compressing or vibrating that structure, that's where the electricity comes from, do you reckon?
The electricity is going from the charges wanting to jump between it and the material itself and the lattice structure. I see setting the resonance or the tone, just the frequency of the vibration. That's the material, the medium that carries the frequency, which is why like quartz is used in so many places, because of the consistent frequency where its resonance is, the way like a tuning fork would vibrate.
Yeah, they have it down to, I think, 34,000 something heartbeats per second in a quartz crystal. Yeah,
it's amazing.
And they all do it.
They all.
That's fast. That's really fast.
That's crazy fast, isn't it?
It's fast. It's consistent. It's a way of, again, it's everything is in its way, its own little time marking time. And again, you do that by the same way you think of music in the harmonics, where the notes are, where the resonance comes through, where the peaks are. And it's beautiful. I don't know how to explain it other than absolutely beautiful. The more you look at it, the more in love you are with it.
So the size of the crystal would change the frequency that it goes at, or is it pretty much set?
No, the frequency would be set, but it would change. In other words, if you look at your peaks and valleys and that on it, they'd be at the same intervals, but it would make deeper peaks and valleys. In other words, they would just be more pronounced. So you would have a deeper V or a shallower V within within the exact same resonance. But you can't. I mean, that's why you can time it. Is the distance between the two stays the same, but so if you think of it side to side, it stays the same, but up and down, the way you would see it on an oscilloscope would change. On your oscilloscope, it would have higher and lower peaks.
Don't atomic clocks even still use quartz crystals in them?
Yes, I believe the atomic clocks. No, they don't. They use cesium. They don't use quartz, but they use cesium, and cesium is based on the exact same principle. You just have a finer. It has an even faster
beat per second,
right?
Yeah,
than quartz by quite a bit, and so it's a little bit rarer and harder to work with. But your atomic clock would be the same principle, but not with quartz. But it's based on the same piezoelectric. Piezo, however we're saying it correctly, but the way I see it, it would be based on the same principles, and that if my understanding on it is correct. And again, I like to revisit everything because it's so much. Again, it's making sure you have things right. I don't know if I memorize the facts as much as I see things in pictures, so it's a little bit of a different way of experiencing.
Well, when Lucas and I decided to do this one on, the crystals and the electricity they create, we started doing a little bit of research on it over the week, and we found some pretty cool videos Now, I didn't want to show any of these to you because I wanted to get your initial reaction live. So I apologize for that. Usually I share everything with Cami that I see. You know, someone send me something cool. Bob and Cami usually see it all the time, you know.
Oh, that's so good to know, Zach, because I just thought you hated me all week long. No. We have been off in our own little worlds, everybody in their own little compartments in the house, focused, you know, what we're doing. And this has been one of the weeks that we really haven't seen each other much. I love that he has this to share, though. I've been also investigating some of my own. It'll be interesting to see if we came up with some of the same videos.
Yeah. Well, here we go. There's the first one. Now, Lucas found most of these. I think he found all of them except for one. Lucas is the researcher.
And we shared the same video. You should tell that story.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Yeah, we're going to share something with you guys here. It might be next weekend. It might be the weekend after. We're kind of jumping all over the place. We're into, what is it, sulfur. We're looking into that. We're looking into the electric field. So we're kind of just throwing all these videos into chat. Well, he shared a video with me and I didn't see it, you know, and I'm sitting there looking through YouTube and I'm going through and I find this video and I share it with Lucas. It's the exact same video. What are and it has nothing to do with piezoelectrics. This was an electric field video about gathering electricity out of the sky. And yeah, just out of the blue, we both sent each other the exact same video, like within hours too. It wasn't like days later or anything. It was like he sent it and then I sent it the very next message a couple hours later.
And I was like, why are you sending me the video I just sent you? I'm like, what? And he's like tripping out.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. I don't want to say great minds, but, you know, minds think alike, I guess. Yeah.
Tuned in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the video I saw. The one that I liked the best, or I thought that was the easiest to look at, was one by Stephen Mold. I don't know if that's one that you guys covered or not, but I've looked at several, and I thought that was like one of the easiest ways to. He has very easy ways to explain and show. He does the same with resonance. I think he has some of the best, like, easy to understand information out there on resonance. Stephen Mold, MOULD. Again, not a flat earther by any means, but somebody that puts out very good information as far as how things, you know, explaining or showing and testing how things work, and the curiosity with it.
Yeah, I love that guy, Stephen Mold. Yeah, he's a nerd. He's a science nerd. You know?
He truly is.
And he tests it. He goes and tries it for himself. So yeah, I love people like that. So, all right, this first video, Lucas found, and this is so cool, Cami. I'm sure you already probably know this, but if you take 2 quartz crystals and just rub them together with some force, you can create electric discharges.
Do show us, and yes, I did know that. That's again, quartz with the thing. Can you show it? Because
yeah,
you can show what I.
This guy here, Extreme Budget. It's a old video. No, it's about almost a year old. So, or almost 2 years old. But now he's just going through the beginning, showing Hutchinson and some of that kind of stuff, and talks about piezoelectrics. But we have you here for that, so we're just going to go straight to the.
When you press down on the trigger of
there's Steve Mold.
This guy knocking together some.
Can you guys hear that all right?
Yeah, you can hear that.
Okay, cool.
Some quartz together and creating a light. Basically, just take a couple of these. Now, this is quartz. It's not quartz crystal, but it's quartz. It just didn't crystallize into the normal formations that we see. This is quartz crystal within a geode. I got this from my granddad. He has a bunch of stuff. Went to him to get some quartz crystal. I found this at a rock shop, and these are quartz crystal with purple in it, and I forget what that is called right now, but
Amethyst.
That's why I paused it, Cami. I knew you were going to pop
I'm going to
up.
pause this a minute right here and now. Let's put a stop on it. Right. Let's pause
Okay.
1 second.
Yep.
And I'm just going to clarify a couple of things he said. He says it's quartz, but it's not crystal. You guys are thinking of the outlines of crystals and just the outer, that's like the makeup layer on the outside. I guarantee you this is, if it's quartz, it really, every minerals are crystals. It is crystals through and through. It just doesn't have a pretty, it's kind of an uglier, not as pure one. Quartz, when it runs in the family, you guys, know quartz by many things. You see the quartz wands and that people are using, or the clear quartz, but amethyst, all amethyst, when you see the purple on the ring, that's purple quartz. Citrine quartz, or citrine, when somebody calls a stone citrine quartz, it's very abundant and it runs the spectrum of the rainbow as far as colors go. So, but again, even when they're ugly, they're still quartz and they're still crystals.
All righty. We're going to let him. Okay, here we go.
This is that. So these are quartz that you could just find out in your front yard probably. And this is what I wanted to find. When I was in Arizona, I found this out there. But you could basically go out in your front yard or something and find stuff like this in River Rock or whatever it is. But you could just do your own little test, and then you'll be able to see exactly what it does. You can either scrape it like this. You can see the little charges in there that happen when you grind them together.
Okay. So is that just from the pressure then there, Cami?
That is just from the pressure. What the pressure is doing on that is it's just putting on the lattice enough force, the pressure, just to almost turn it into just. If you do, you have pictures of the hexagonal lattice structure with this, where you'll have and see the layout where it will say silicon, oxygen, and you can see just how they're opposite each other in the grid. In other words, by pressuring and realigning it just slightly, what happens is it creates little miniature, literally, Zach Van de Graaff generators by changing areas of it, positive and negative, that you're just creating what the Van de Graaff does. I can't say it simpler than that. Is by pushing on the lattice on it and pressurizing it, you're moving it, the silicon and the oxygen, that enough in alignment that it makes it that one area is more positive, one area is more negative, and that pressure is making a little Van de Graaff. When we think about doing wires and we think about doing electricity and how complicated it is, or even computer chips and that, remember, things are all made from, and you say what's natural, what's not natural.
Are you seeing this?
Yeah, we're making the elements. We're making the elements, or we're making our components out of the elements that we're taking out of the earth. I mean, everything is based on something that was already here, that we're taking our alchemy, mixing things together and doing it. But again, keep in mind, how could we start with anything, without it being natural? What we're taking and looking in and redoing. Again, electricity, shortcutting things. Yeah, refining it. And I don't even know, it was even more refined than we're actually sloppy doing it. But we're taking properties that we like and we're making them useful and repetitive to suit our nature. But everything was already there. The electricity was there. We didn't create or discover anything. It was there. We're just understanding it more.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I'm seeing here, it says that glass and quartz are made of the same. We have oxygen and what is that, silica? Silicon,
and the arrangement in quartz, and your differences is your arrangement in quartz is putting it in a hexagonal pattern. And when you do that, what happens is the charges are exact opposite, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So if you think of that in alignment, think silicon, oxygen, silicon, and the other side of it, oxygen, silicon, oxygen. As you flatten it, where there are two oxygen and one silicon, that becomes oxygen or positive, and where you're squashing the silicons together and it becomes two silicons and an oxygen, that becomes negative, and then you have the Van de Graaff generator. It's within the lattice structure of, I should almost be like drawing this out, but you understand that, like, take a hexagram and put those little symbols at the corners or on the lattice, and if you squish the lattice at all, just even a little bit, you're creating areas of positive and negative by the bounds of that. If you have two negatives and a positive, the whole region is going to be positive. And if you have two negatives and a positive, the whole region is going to be overall negative. So by making the alignment and doing it like that, you have a positive and a negative, and you have discharge.
Yep.
Awesome. So yeah, just like he said, you can find that stuff all over the place, that kind of quartz. It's still a crystal. It's just not the pretty, perfect, lattice structured crystal that, you know, people like to call crystals. But it's still made up of the same stuff. And you can strike it together and I didn't know this until Lucas shared this with me. I had no clue.
When you take your lighter, like your lighter that you light your barbecue with or your fireplace with, it's not a flint lighter. Zach's playing with mine, that blue one. I wondered where it went. So I was playing with it too. We're going to have that totally worn out, and I'm surprised it's not taken apart by now. I've been watching them be taken apart. These things are amazing, and they're amazingly simple. All they are is a little spring with a hammer, a little piece of quartz, and a wire running to like the tip of it, that when you also do the trigger, it also lets gas up at the same time that you create the spark. And the spark is entirely created by taking a little hammer or letting the spring hit the quartz. It's going to make a spark. That's all it is a little hammer. You know, when you squeeze it, it's a mechanical trigger that makes a little hammer mark on the quartz, which creates the spark, which runs up the wire, mixes with the gas, and you have a very reliable lighter. And it couldn't be any simpler. Again, nothing. It's a little rock in there, a little rock and a spring hammer.
Yep. All righty. So Lucas also grabbed this next video, I believe. Yeah, this one's awesome, folks. This one I am definitely going to be attempting for sure. You're going to like this, Cam. I wondered, do they talk about this being used back in the day? Lucas?
Which one is it? The batteries?
Yeah.
I don't know. As far as I can tell, or I've seen, I've only seen it from this guy. So there's probably other people that do it, but yeah, this is where I first come across it.
Yeah, it's the complete build process for crystal power cells. He's got a 15-volt version coming up soon. That's insane. This is old though, 2013. So here, I'll just turn it on.
Okay, so I've had lots of requests from folks on how to build the crystal power cell. And if you followed along at laserhacker.com, I've had some crystal power cells on there powering a motor and an LED for the last 2 years on a live video feed.
All right. Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that, Cam?
Do it again.
Okay, listen to this, what he says right here. This is insane to me.
Milliamps or so. And if you followed along at laserhacker.com, I've had some crystal power cells on there powering a motor and an LED for the last 2 years on a live video feed. And I've...
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's not like a battery that just, you know, you use up the power that's in it and it's gone. This is actually creating power as the crystals are forming inside of here.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. Yeah, maybe because they're enclosed and there's still some growth happening, that the pressure within there is actually creating a constant, you know, that piezoelectric effect, possibly.
But yeah, he has the copper outside, the magnesium on the inside, so it's just like a battery. It is a battery. It's just a battery that is running these, and they're very small output motors. It's not like he's running a 9-volt motor or anything like that, but it's running for years. Now, if you could have, 100 of these all lined up, you could create a little bit more power then. Have them all in circuit, just like lining up batteries. You could line a bunch of these up, and you could probably power something for years. So we're going to just get into this real quick and show you what he's using to make it. This is so simple.
Well, I'm going to build a 10-cell setup, and I'm going to get around 15 volts. And subscribe, follow along if you want to see that project. It will probably be the video after this one. So there seems to be about half a cup of alum in one of these containers. So I'm going to go ahead and use all of that.
Okay.
And I just want to break and
alum.
just right.
He just shows him grinding it.
A cup of this no salt, sodium-free substitute. And this, if you look at the ingredients, this is potassium chloride. And that's one of the main ingredients in this.
So potassium chloride.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All right.
And then we go to, let's move it to the next ingredient here.
Well, these are very approximate measurements. I have not researched for a precise ratio because with a 2-year testing time and the previous cells still going, it would take a long time.
What's
borax.
he using here? Oh, borax. Okay. So he uses borax, and then he's got some Epsom salt there as well.
So it's almost like he's creating a crystal electrolyte, basically, with the two metals and then that separation with the electrolyte there. If you think of it that way.
Yeah, like I said, you're the battery guy. You're the one. Now this is just magnesium, a magnesium piece of magnesium rod, and then the copper outside. And let's see here. Now they're not touching. He's got a little piece of, he puts a little piece of cardboard on the bottom right there, just to stop it from touching. And then he puts all this in there, and he's got the hot plate down here turned on, and then he's hitting it with the heat gun on top. And he just put all that stuff together, and he just melts it. Leaves it running for a while, adds more to the top. He wants to make it nice and level. And he slowly pulls out the bubbles. When the bubbles rise to the top, he pops them. And that's like it.
It's that simple. Lucas, talk to us, because all of your solids in nature are they're not liquid or gas or crystals. Other than a few things that are unformed or so unorganized, like natural gas, lava, and that. But overall, again, your solids are crystalline and very organized to have it all there to work with. Tell us about this and what's going on, because I see the simplicity of it.
Well, I just sort of recognize you got two different metals, and one can be the anode and one can be the cathode, and then you've got the crystal between the two, which is more like your electrolyte, I guess, between. And then, yeah, I just thought that's like a solid type of electrolyte. And then you got the piezoelectric effect with that. So it's interesting anyway. So it could be harnessing two sort of types of, the battery sort of thing, as well as the piezoelectric effect. So, but yeah, I'm pretty sure these things run for far longer than 2 years.
Yeah, no, this is just what he said he had it for so far.
And they do it just like I'm sure that the piezoelectrics and all of this stuff works in conjunction with each other in reality too, because that is reality. It's all the little pieces that, again, as they work together, they work a little bit differently. They feed each other. They again, everything has a little effect on everything else. It's all connected, which is why I'm so fascinated in Lucas' work, because he holds so many of our answers.
Spinning that motor, no problem.
Well, the electrolyte is basically you have the water and then you have the salts, and your salts are a type of crystal, right?
In their purest form, yes, they are. Salts are crystals. Halite,
Yes.
and yes.
Yeah, so it's
Perfect. Take salt from your shaker and look at it. It's
yeah, so
they're
it's
even the pretty
basically,
ones.
yeah. So it's free flowing crystals in a sense, using their own structure and to actually generate that current, because we've showed that a water without salts in it or impurities is non-conducting. So it's really the crystals in the water that allow for that conductance to happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying this one for sure. I definitely want to. Cami might have walked out of range. She does that from time to time. We'll have to wait and see if she jumps back in. But yeah, this is one anybody can do. We can go to the store and buy all this stuff. The magnesium rod, I don't know how much something like that might cost. I guess I could look it up real quick. But I've never tried to buy my magnesium.
You might be able to use other types of metals anyway, but
Well, yeah, I was reading through a lot of the comments. Oh, $10, 3-inch magnesium round bar.
it's cheap.
So yeah, not expensive at all. I'm definitely going to be getting a 1/4-inch magnesium round bar, $269. Yeah, it's not too expensive. Let me see. I think Cami is back. Oh,
You just gave a wonderful.
there she is.
I don't know, where did you guys lose me, because I don't know, I didn't touch anything. I don't know how anything got affected, but I was saying, did you hear my spiel on salt and it dissolving, or where were we?
No, go. Tell us about it.
Okay, the one thing about this reaction is it employs ionic bonding in it. It's not just dropping a crystal into water and having it sit there as a crystal form. A salt as a crystal actually changes when you expose it to water. It dissolves. It dissolves and loses its organization and becomes part of the water itself. And now you have the charges in the water that are unorganized. So it in itself, the salts that you add, just what's going on with her is not. You have you have a reaction. You have bonding. You have things happening right then and there that change everything. Again, it's not like putting a piece of metal that's not going to have the bonding in the water. Though your elements, again, when you're talking about your metals being positive and negative, gold, all of your metals that you're talking about grow as perfect crystals. That's what they are. We mine them, we hammer them, we heat them, we do things to them. But this is all stuff that we just pull out of the ground as beautiful crystals. Gold, very crystal. Again, your metals are perfect examples of crystals. So I think people, as they understand crystals more and how they're everything.
Now, do you think, after seeing that video, and I ordered a crucible set with, my little.
Yes.
I'm going to be melting stuff and
we're going to melt stuff.
Yeah. But could I crush quartz down and then put it back together with heat, like melt it and then
you're thinking of the crystalline, not so easy. That I would have to pull out the heating temperatures and the things on it to involve. It's not, what you have to do is almost, again, with the elements, seed it and do it. There's I could show you how it's done in the laboratory and that, but you're not going to be able to do it quite like that with your crucible and your torch and that. Though you're on the right track.
All righty. I'm still
in laboratory, they need a high heat. You'll need a platinum crucible is usually what they do this work in, and a seed to start it, and again the elements around it. So you're trying to regrow it, but it's not just from crushed or destroyed. Just it's kind of like taking a plant, crushing it up, and trying to create another plant out of it. No, you need to regrow it.
Well, no, I'm just saying, can I melt it back together to where it's one solid thing again?
I haven't tried that one. I know
Liz says, "Be careful with the carpets." Yes. Yeah, I was playing with ferro
fluid.
and I destroyed. Thank God it was before the new carpet was put in. But yeah, that stuff does not come out of carpets, and I doubt molten quartz does either. So yes, this will all be done outside.
We can look at and experiment with different things. I know with bismuth and different things you can redo it. I don't. It seems to work better with the metallic and some of the other alum. Again, you're looking at the things. I have a lot to learn on that still. But again, I see how they seed and grow. And again, some of the things you can just destroy, melt down, and grow over again. You do it with bismuth. You do it with a lot of things. So, and again, that's what basalt pillars are when lava and the basalt has time to organize and crystalline itself. It can be done. I don't know if it's as easy as a little bitty crucible and a torch, though.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. I'm gonna try. You know me.
I'm all for it.
All right, so we have another cool video, and I think you guys out there are going to really like this one. This shows just how little amount of pressure you have to apply to create an electric charge to these piezoelectric materials. Let's see. There we go. The piezoelectric generator. So do you guys see? So he's got a little pad here. Now this is your piezoelectric. There's a little piece, a crystal in there. And it's probably pretty flat, and it's got the positive hooked up to one side, the negative hooked up to the other. And you'll see all he's going to do is pick this up and start squeezing it. And when he does, he gets an electric current or a discharge every time. Well, 17, 19 volts. A nice little...
Yeah, I know with my body, I've squeezed it and I've got like 4 volts, but I've never done the 17 or the what he's.
Now you'll see here, he hooks it up to a capacitor, which is kind of like a battery almost, folks. It just stores electricity in here. And he can actually charge it up. That's a current.
So our Earth is basically, multiple crystals or, in general, like huge crystals underneath,
Huge
I guess.
Crystals, yeah. Enormous.
And
being struck with electricity.
Then we have being struck with electricity. But then we have like things like the Schumann resonance and things like that. So the Earth charge in that case is going to be acting similar to a capacitor or a battery just on its own. And that was part of my model as well, that it was actually, as a salt bridge, it was acting as a capacitor. And that actually sort of dictates how much energy is being released and stored at the same time. So plays a very important role. When you put it in the galvanic cell model, it basically stops the cathode and anode, so your positive and negative, and that whole sequence from running to equilibrium really quickly and basically burning out. So the salt bridge is a critical component in the galvanic cell because it stops it from just basically running out and the whole thing stopping. So it's the capacitor in the whole setup.
Yeah, I had an idea just watching this video. What if you took something like this and placed it along a shoreline somewhere where you had, a lot of water coming and just crashing down all the time?
Like a big long one, big strip.
Yeah, or thousands of them, with big giant capacitors there, and you could just sit there and charge those things constantly, 24 hours a day. Just every time a wave comes and crashes, you're grabbing a little bit of that energy and storing it to use later. This could be applied in so many ways. There are so many things in nature that, you know, happen on very frequent cycles that we could figure out ways to grab some of that energy when these cycles are, you know, cycling.
I could have it in flooring for my house and have the kids run around, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Every time you take a step. Well, they have kind of started to almost apply this in certain ways. Have you heard of this, Cam? Well, what are your thoughts on that, Cami, before we jump into the next part?
I think that the patents, they buy them up on their further, and again, looking at this, and if we understand how it works, we understand free energy. I mean, some of my thoughts have always been that what greater evil than to turn us into slaves over something that's given freely. And not only are we slaves, but we're slaves to destroying the giver. When, again, just the simple understanding will show you that energy is given with love and given freely, and there's really no reason to frack or rape or demolish our earth to get it. So, I mean, to me, it all feeds in with the whole philosophical feeling of what I have on this. I don't know how you could think stronger or more that I think this is the key to our slavery.
Yeah. No, I wholeheartedly agree with that for sure.
Well, yeah, even rain falling down could capture this energy. You could capture the energy just from the rain falling and hitting these little pads. And there's places where it rains every day, you know?
And anytime that someone comes up with something, they just basically shut it down. Like there was a guy that, you know, created a carburetor, and, you know, it'd make your car run for, you know, huge amounts on pretty much nothing. So yeah, they shut that down. And it's crazy. They keep doing the same thing over and over with all this energy.
I'm going to get to philosophical a little bit too, because one of the things that scares me about playing with electricity, we all have this intuition of how it's dangerous and that, but some other intuition or just thoughts on doing it is biblically, I think that the serpent represents electricity, and that when playing with knowledge, Eve was playing with electricity or that, and so you have the thoughts of, is this something to play with lightly in that? And what are your thoughts playing with it? Because I've been asked directly, what are your thoughts playing this with what you're doing? What are you trying to do? And I think it's important to step back and be really clear with what we're playing with and why. I'm playing with it and I'm wondering why, not because I want power or I want the knowledge of it, but because I believe that the knowledge of all of this is already out there and being used against us in a very, very evil way. Again, it's turned us into people that rape and destroy our vessel to get something that's given freely, because some people know the secrets to this. And so when looking into the secrets of it, it's not to discover or to control or to be smart or to gain knowledge against for any of those reasons. Is because it's time for the unveiling, and it's time for us to look and see how it's already been played with and how it's being manipulated against us, and why the plane wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, that the energy was given and instead of the information that was given to us freely, we took the knowledge and used it for evil. We used it for real evil. And so some of it is just philosophical on the unveiling of it, that I think it really needs to be learned, but I think it needs to be learned with reverence and a lot of care and respect given to it. And be careful, because again, the knowledge can be used so evilly, and it has been used so evilly against us.
Have you guys ever heard of John Hutchinson and the Hutchinson effect?
Oh yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh,
Maybe.
we're going to have to get into that later, Lucas, for sure. But he's super genius, playing with electricity, frequencies, stuff like that. And he did a lot of work for the government, working for the U.S. military. And a lot of the stuff that he figured out, they have taken and are applying it to, well, I'm going to let him tell you. This is exactly what you were talking about, Cami, but coming from, one of the scientists themselves. Not saying you're not, a scientist, but from one of the big ones who is saying the exact same thing you just said.
Aerospace corporations has it. The concerns of it being used for an evil force by the military-industrial complex disturbs me quite a bit. I like to see it used for the helping of nature because there's so much pollution going on with nature. Mankind tends to want to fight each other all the time with wars, whereas Mother Nature rolls on with great energy and power.
It's absolutely essential for the world, the survival of the world, that we get off petrochemical.
Yeah, well, I'm of the same mind as you, Cami. I just think understanding electricity ties all our sciences together, and it gives us a holistic viewpoint of what's going on. So, and we can deal with our own health, the planetary sort of stuff as well. The whole thing, it ties it all together and gives us a proper view of our world. So that's where I'm coming from. And anytime I sort of try and figure out something, I try and share it, and then hopefully other people sort of see it and then take it a step further or see where I've made mistakes or whatever it is. But yeah, we got to get back to a better understanding of what electricity is, how it's functioning, and how we can utilize it to raise ourselves up to a higher level, that we're no longer under the control of these people that want to hold this control over us. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
Yep, you couldn't have said it any better. We need to, I don't know, is it wake people up? I don't know if that's going to happen. At least not, the sheep. But I would really, I do, I figure something out. I share it with everybody. But I don't know. Instead of putting it out there and sharing it like that, what if you, figured out a way to fix a car, to do something, and just started doing it to people's cars? Said, don't tell anybody about it. Don't say a word. We're just going to do this to every single car.
Oh, I think the word would get out fairly quickly.
Yeah, I know. I'm being a little too optimistic.
Someone make a call somewhere and say, hey, check this guy out. He's, grab their mobile phone and take a video of it, and all of a sudden what was secret is no longer. But if we have an understanding and make that understanding public, and the understanding goes sort of viral in a sense, well, then you're dealing with a whole different kettle of fish, because once you get that information to such a level, then everyone just starts doing it in their own way. And how are you going to stop it then?
Yeah, I think if it was simple enough, if we could make it like this, is simple enough. You put these little rocks down there and you hook these electrodes to them, where somewhere in nature is going to have a constant, it'll disrupt it and create that electric charge. It's that simple. It's not like the Searle generator where you need magnets and all these different, you don't have to be a scientist to build one of these.
No, and that's another thing I try and do with my videos is simplify it and then show some of the mythology that's around it, because I think this stuff is very old and it was obviously known, and how it applies to ourselves as well. And that gives you it gives you some sort of framework to start thinking in these positive and negative terms, or that, just in electrical terms, if you start corresponding it to general things that you do, then the understanding will be a lot simpler. And then, as a natural outgrowth of that, you can just, because you're used to the concepts, you can actually just start applying it.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, I think this could be applied in so many ways, so many different places. Like we were saying, rainfall, waves, wind, possibly. I don't know. But the ideas are endless. A place where there's a little bit of a waterfall. We could do this right out in the backyard, Cam. There's constantly water rushing and, hitting the rocks. They're falling down a little bit and just constantly smashing it.
We have the perfect place to do it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we have the exact perfect place to do it, and we should do it. We should find the rocks here, test the rocks here for quartz and that. I mean, we have everything on property. We don't even need to leave the yard to get our pieces. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome spring for sure coming up. Playing outside. It's getting a little chilly outside. Well, it's up to 50 today. What is that, about 17 maybe for Lucas? No, not that warm. I don't know. Something like that. It's warm enough to go outside and play, but at night, man, it's getting cold. It's getting, I think it was -2 Celsius last night.
Yeah, that's cold.
Yeah,
real
that's
cold.
No fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to the beach after this. So. I'm on a little holiday, so it's.
We got one more article to look over, and this is actually, scientists applying this to technology to be able to grab the energy that you're creating with your body movements, and by wearing certain things, like on your bending joints here, tin monosulfide. So they're taking certain things that are piezoelectric, and as you bend it and relax it, you can see there's electrical currents being created, electrical charges being created.
And the other thing this shows is that the metals, and there's a synthesis between the metals and the piezoelectrics. So this is what Cami was talking about earlier as well. So they're sort of in one sense not different.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm thinking if they're wearing it on your body, they're going to factor in the salts on your body, and that right in the equation, Lucas. If this is a wearable piece.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Exactly. It's all part of it. I think Zach, I wish everybody would start their intros and outros with your Walter Lewin electricity piece. On just a thought. I don't know how to make people see how it's part of everything all around you, and we're blind to it because they blinded us to it really, really intentionally. And occasionally some great teachers are left. Walter Lewin, I call it a blessing, to help us see the truth.
And there you go. It's the same exact concept that they're using. The piezoelectric materials can convert applied mechanical force, that pressure, squeezing the rock or bending it, these metals, or strain, into electrical energy. Now, I'm not sure if it goes into, no, it doesn't really say how much energy they're getting out of doing this, but they're getting better at it, at shaping these things to create more electricity. They're, like it says here, they're getting down into the electron microscope, and they're able to do this, a thin monolayer tin sulfide, which there's so many different things that we can hashtag test it, all these different things that we could try. It's going to take time, but could you imagine a suit that you just walked around in, and by you moving it, you're charging your phone just by walking down the street?
Via crystals, it's computers. We do it. We hold memory and silicon chips. We hold the wires aren't necessary. It's just the understanding.
And our bones are crystal too. So that's
Yes.
another. Just to put that out there. Yeah.
And just to put it in here, you have in multiple places, but when you look at, for those that are not familiar with the octahedron crystal, it's like a four-sided pyramid on top itself, like a mirror image back and forth. It's cubic crystal structure or habit, or that it happens all the time in nature. But for instance, you have that right between your nose in magnetite. You have a little compass right at the top of your nose between your eyes. You grew a little crystal there. You have other little crystals in your body. Again, they don't teach you about it, but if you look into it, they're there. Solids or crystalline. Your bones are, the magnetite, the pieces in you, the rocks. It's quite beautiful. And true.
Yeah. I was thinking about, because the Great Wall of China had a lot of bones in it. So what if just walking along the Great Wall was creating electricity, the piezoelectric charge underneath it?
Well, I had thought about because of the information storing capacity of crystals, and I'd thought about the bones as well. Do they store the body's information as well? So I just thought that was interesting.
I'm going to give you some creepy info from the Catholic religion. It came up on Secrets of Saturn, and I had texted Rose, and she wrote back that she'd wish she had known that during the show, but they were talking about relics, and they had no idea what relics were in the Catholic religion. And relics, for those who don't know, they're pieces of saints, like a little finger joint, a small bone. They're literally bone remnants of supposed saints, and they're in every altar. A Catholic altar contains a relic of a saint or a little bone particle of a saint. It's kind of creepy, but then when you look at eating, going up, kneeling and eating body and drinking blood, again, the things you grew up doing, that when you sit and wonder about, like, what am I saying and what am I doing? I'm eating your body and drinking your blood, and at an altar that's got a bone in it. It's, I don't know, just creepy stuff.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Yeah, it's like, hold on. Yeah.
But yeah, the bones, there is something to the bones, is where it came from and what they're using them for.
Yeah, it's interesting. Don't know.
I think this is just so cool. I'm just going to show this in the background a little bit. If you're late to the show, he was taking a bunch of stuff you can go buy at the hardware store and grocery store, and he made a battery out of it. And he has, this was back in 2013, but supposedly live, running for 2 years now, one of these batteries running a motor. And he was working on a 15-volt setup to where he ran these 10 of them in sequence. But that little bit of stuff right there is running that motor. And he's had some of them that are running for years. That's just insane to me. By mixing a bunch of household chemicals, borax, Epsom salt, no salt stuff. What was that? Potassium chloride?
Yeah.
Potassium chloride, just, stuff that you find laying around the house that you might have in your house.
These are all elements in that you find in nature, that they're just compartmentalized and selling them in boxes, by the way. and the things that you're listing some of the purest compounds, or or non-compounds. Just use the wrong word on that to explain that. So it's one of those days.
Yes, Jeep Girl, that is a copper bowl with a magnesium pipe for the center.
Good catch.
All the links to all the videos we showed and the article are in the description already. So if you guys want to go check those out and watch the whole thing after the show, they're already in there for you. But yeah, I mean, you could probably go and spend maybe $20 and have all this stuff ready to roll. So I'm definitely going to be doing this here very shortly. I just want to test it to see if it actually works.
No, I vaguely remember making a potato clock as a little girl, or a potato something or other. Should I be revisiting this? Because I don't have very good memories, just other like a potato battery, or what do you do as children with a potato that you make something go as a science thing? It's been a long time. Anyone?
Yeah,
I think you can do that, but I've always heard the lemon one, where you have the make a little battery out of the lemon, sticking nails in it and stuff.
I think I'm older than you. I think they probably figured out the lemon after the potato, and they don't use the potatoes anymore.
But I've seen the potato one work.
Potatoes
too.
were cheaper. Yeah.
Well, let's look up potato battery real quick, and we'll go check it out.
Check it out. I seem to remember doing something with a potato and making like again, I don't know, a battery or a clock or why do I think potato clock? It wasn't putting the hand.
Right with the potato clock idea, because here, let me show you what I'm looking at. This is insane. You said potato clock right when I was looking at this thing. Premium potato clock with activity guide. Carolina lemon battery. Individual kit, best home. So there's your lemon, there's your potato.
And a clock. Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's one with, looks like oranges. That doesn't look like a lemon. That looks like an orange. Phi chow fruit. Don't know what a Phi chow fruit is. But yeah, I bet you could do this with a human being. I mean, really, I don't want to get horrible.
Turn them into a clock.
Yeah. But yeah, you can get power from this stuff, from just about, we just showed you how you can take a crystal and squeeze it and create electricity. I'm not saying go out and squeeze your children and see if they start making, electrostatic shocks or anything like that. But yeah, we're finding all kinds of ways to pull electricity out of everything. I think
it's time sometimes to revisit your childhood and rub that balloon on your head and pull out the potatoes and the things and just revisit some of the curiosities you had as a child. Because I think they try to just wear them out of you. But if you revisit them, the curiosity is still there and the miracles are still there.
Yeah, that's right. What Bolt Gun said. It's basically your lemons have the electrolyte in them, a little bit of acidity, and then you're just putting cathode and anode in. So it's just a small battery.
Just like that. That's simple. And yet we make it so complicated as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah, and NJ Jeep Girl's asking, but what if you build big ones? I think that's what he was thinking about doing. He didn't actually build them so much bigger, but like batteries, you can connect them and put them in sequence and get more voltage out of it. So he wasn't even, I don't know how many volts he was getting out of that one. I think it was milliamps he was measuring. But when you put them in sequence, he was going to get up to 15 volts, which is more than a car battery.
I wonder if you could like layer them out, so you'd have a smaller circle, larger circle, and you keep working your way out, so it's like a big flat disc full. I don't know if that'd work.
You were wondering that, and I was wondering if you could scalar it, like the scalar dominoes, and get it to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah. Or it just basically you could do it like a galvanic pile. You know what that is?
Oh, draw the picture.
It's. I'll see if you can bring it up, Zach. Just have a quick look at a galvanic pile.
Yeah, I'm on it.
And it's just a layering of. It's almost like a capacitor in the way it layers up, but yeah, we'll see.
Here we go. Galvanic pile. Not shopping. We'll go images.
Yeah, there. Oh, voltaic pile, galvanic voltaic, same diff.
Oh,
but you just get it. You're just getting a layering of an insulator and a conductor, and so.
Oh, sorry.
And then it sits in an electrolyte, so it's a type of battery as well. But I had thought the way the Earth is layered as well, that it's acting similar to this galvanic pile or voltaic pile.
So this would be under a liquid right here?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's submerged. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. I've never heard of one.
Yeah, I'd have to do a bit more research on it, but
Me too.
yeah,
Wow.
I had thought the layering effect of the Earth plate or whatever could be similar to this as well, where you have different substances that would create sort of like more insulative and then more conductive, and that would, yeah, similar.
Whenever I see anything like this, I think of you, Lucas.
Lucas, I think you are so spot on with this and the work that you're doing. I appreciate it. I mean, I think you are so spot on, and I learned so much from this, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Picture just, again.
It's amazing. I want to see how much they were putting out, how much they were getting out of this. It's a pretty simple setup.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Awesome.
But it's just another form of the same sort of principles. They're nearly the exact same principles, and they're just applied in different ways. Again, we're just seeing the same. There's in one sense, there's only one way to create electricity, in a sense, and it's through the same sort of overarching principles. I know that sounds a bit strange, but it really is these basic principles that come into play. Yeah. But that's just how I see it. Other people might see it differently. Yeah.
I'm learning that part. What I see is that anytime you create electricity, you're creating a magnetic field, and the two are so intertwined.
Yeah, you basically got this, positive and negative, and then something that transfers in between. So it's like that Trinity concept. Yeah.
And he's doing it out of old pennies and washers. Wow, I want to do this. Some regular table salt that looks like he's grabbing here.
There's your electrolyte. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see what he's getting out of this. I'm going to show the meter, man. Come on. What are you doing? Does he realize he's not? Okay. I don't know what we're looking at. I don't know. But just with that, what is that? 1 penny, one? Wow. So did Volta figure this out? Is that what he was just saying?
Yeah, I think that's he's basically making a galvanic pile there, isn't he? With the yeah. Yeah, I think it's named after Volta.
And that's a current, isn't it? He's in DC. Milliamps. Wow. He goes even higher. And it goes up. Wow. No way. I'm trying this. That looks too easy. That just looks too easy. I don't have this one in the description yet, folks. I will put it in there for you if you'd like to try this. That's Science Online. I'm going to save that one.
I know what we're doing next week.
Well, alrighty. Oh, hey, we do have a guest. Sorry, Voynich. I didn't see you there. I'm going to add him in right now. Hey, Voy, welcome to the stream, man. How you doing?
He's on mute.
You're muted down there. You'll have to unmute yourself. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I can. Can't unmute guests because they chose to mute themselves. Okay.
Yeah, now I see it.
There he is. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I thought I'd just chime in as a total nitwit because you guys are into electrics and into these kind of things, and it always fascinated me. And so I thought I'd just chime in as a total nitwit.
Yeah,
That's all right.
Did you have you ever heard of any of the stuff we were talking about today?
Yeah. And it always interested me. My brother used to be like, well, he still is 6 years older than I am. And he always used to be into electrics and electronics. And he used to be like a wizard in it, because he was my bigger brother, my big brother. 6 years older than I was, like, so he's been through it all, And he used to be able to just take apart a television, just take it apart, just to see what it's all about. And then a week later, he just build it back together and have it work again. So,
see, I used to take everything apart, but I couldn't put him back together the right way.
My brother could. Get that kind of shit, dude.
Me and Zach are the same. Yeah, I can pull it apart.
I'd put it back together. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah. But my brother, I was like, I understand that you can take it apart, but he said to me, no, Voy, now I know how it works. And I looked at him like, really? And he just put it back together again, and it worked. Now, let me tell you something about, I'm not going to tell you something about electronics. You cannot tell me something about electronics. But I also used to be able to take apart like a motorcycle and put it back together again and be left with like 4 screws or 7 screws and some parts. But it would still run. But it doesn't go like that with a television, does it?
No, not at all.
Right?
I remember Dad had a little workroom, and he was an electrician. He worked at the mills as one of their electrical maintenance guys. And he used to fix VCRs for people. This was back in the
80s.
80s, yeah, real early 90s. And he would, people would bring their VCR to him. He'd fix them, but he had like 30 VCRs and 10 TVs in this room and just all these extra parts. And I'd go in there and play with that stuff. Well, he would bring something from work, from somebody that was having him fix something. And I took apart one of those one time. And man, he had to go and buy the guy a brand new VCR. And I got in trouble for that one.
Because you touched it. You touched it.
Yep. Yeah. I took it apart. I mean, I mixed parts. I thought it was one of the toy ones, the play ones. I was like, ooh, a new play one. Cool. I'm going to put this thing apart. Yeah, I got in trouble pretty good for that. I was not allowed to go play in the room anymore without adult supervision.
So when did that happen to you? What was your age?
About 10 years old.
Oh, okay. So okay, you were able to handle that then.
Yeah.
Emotionally, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't, it wasn't like I had a bunch of, what's the word? Trust, I guess, with the adults at 10 years old, playing with stuff like that, So it really didn't bother me that I've been told plenty of times, Zach, quit taking stuff apart. It was nothing new to me. It was just, they told me I could take this stuff apart in here, so I would. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, no, that wasn't for you to take apart. Yeah, not that one. Yeah. So no, I still got to take stuff apart after that. I definitely did. They loved that idea. They just, didn't like me doing it with other people's stuff.
And here you are on YouTube, still taking things apart, still not understanding shit of it.
Oh, we got one today. Do you want to show that video, just a sneak peek, Lucas?
Yeah, let's trip him out a bit. Yeah.
Okay, this
just trip me out. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all.
You made me curious.
Let me.
Have you seen this, Cami? She's not there.
Is it what? No, I'm here. I just walked right back in. I just went into the kitchen for a second where there was no reception. Is it the video of what you did, Zach?
Yes.
I have seen it. He melted my brain on this. My brain was on the floor in a puddle coming into the show. I came into the show feeling like, oh, wow, I am so dumb. I don't know what's happening on this, and I want to know. I am so curious.
You and me both. I was like, let's put this off until we can wrap our heads around what's going on. But,
yeah, my brain puddle floor is what happened with me. I can't wait for him to show this and see again. I want to hear thoughts on it because it's great. It's really, really good.
All righty. We'll just get to over here. Okay, well, let me explain what I'm doing here. Okay, I have the Van de Graaff generator, and it is just discharging over here. Okay, I take a lighter, and when I light this, listen to what happens with the shock here. No more discharging. I stop the lighter, it starts discharging again.
And it's like a stone lighter. It's not a click lighter, right?
Yeah. That's just a regular old Bic lighter with a flint.
Yeah, with a flint. Yeah.
It's the element of fire, I think. You know what? I'd like you to try this with a small candle and see if it's fire or something.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, or like with a click lighter. But indeed, a click lighter and a candle, please.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting together a video, and
I think Cami, you're just right. It's just the element of fire. That's probably just it.
That's what I took, but the different again. I want to see so much more in this because you got the people in the audience. Unless they hear what I'm not hearing, we're not hearing the background video. But from the Van de Graaff, you hear the crackling of the static charges and everything going back and forth. And as soon as there's a flame, and he doesn't even need to have it that close. As soon as
can you hear it now?
Flame present, I don't.
It stops the crackling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't hear it.
There's that other video where he was Zach, where on the laser saber, you know how he had the atmospheric generator.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we basically got the idea from. And what he was doing was collecting atmospheric charge, and then he started a flame and basically increased that charge or the amount of current that he was actually getting from the atmosphere. So that's where the idea come from to test that. And he was using a blowtorch and just basically had a similar setup outside, and he was trying to run one of his little 3D printed motors, and
Yeah,
he couldn't run it. And as soon as he turned the flame on, he was able to get enough current to run that little motor.
Wow.
Yeah, for some reason it won't let me share the sound, because that wasn't a YouTube video. That was just straight off my SD card into my files. And I don't know why it doesn't even give me the option to share sound. So I thought you guys were hearing that. But yeah, every time you could hear it clicking a lot more than you saw the little electrical discharges. It clicks every couple seconds. And then as soon as I click the lighter, the whole discharge clicking noise stops. There is no more snap, 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 snap.
Nothing.
You'll have to show it with a candle so you can show people that there's no metal involved as well.
Yeah.
So that'd be a good one to show.
Yeah, I'm going to get crazy with this one.
Yeah,
Or
man.
to find out that there is metal involved, and again, how that might work in reality, you know?
So has
It's
anything
learning.
similar ever been done or been observed in science, so to say? I mean, it's so simple that probably never anybody had thought of it, but you.
Well, no. Lucas found this. A gentleman actually had a patent from, I think, 1917 or 1908 or sometime back then. And in his patent, it had a flame added into it to amplify the charge that was being sucked out of the atmosphere. Yeah, this is all about drawing the energy from the atmosphere.
Yeah, so he was talking about something like a big Eiffel Tower or that type of structure, and then having flames all around it to actually collect the charge. And he was like, well, this is going to be difficult because if it rains and all that sort of stuff. But so the other one they were talking about were having these balloons with sort of they were little needles, really sharp needles on them that were sort of doped with radium, and they were basically like a spiky balloon, and they'd send that up and collect charge and then have them in a series and be able to accumulate it. The other ones I've seen were basically like a big net between two sort of mountains or rocks.
Spiky balloons? You mean like the coronavirus?
Yeah.
Hey, Zach. Zach,
Yes.
how hard would it be for you to share the video that we had an iron Rome that had that certain shape with the electrostatic field and the stability and the spikes on it, just a couple of spikes as opposed to a lot or a rounded? Do you know which one I'm talking about? Or are you not? Maybe you're not in that.
I have no clue.
You know what? I'm going to see if I send you something.
Yeah, if you send it to me, I could definitely.
Let me find my phone really quick. You guys keep going. You're going to like this.
Yeah, so those spiky balloons, I'll have to find it or maybe put it in the show notes or something. But and the other thing they had was like an amalgam, sort of like a really thin paint on these balloons that was able to collect the charge as well. So, and just a spark gap, so down the bottom. So if there was an over amount, so like a lightning strike or something like that, then it would not blow everything up, sort of thing.
Yeah, we don't want to blow everything up. I heard Baldini talking the other day, and he's hoping to be out this way soon in the Carolinas, and we're going to get a lab going. And he was like, "Yeah, we're probably going to blow ourselves up within a week."
A coffee lab.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a coffee station in the lab for sure.
Hey, be sure to stream it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, anything dangerous, we're going to stream for sure. Yeah,
he will have clothes on though, won't he?
I don't know. I'm not. I mean, he can. Hey, to have that guy's brain around, I'd put up with a lot.
That's true.
I would put up with a lot.
Yeah, I can't wait for him to be out, and nothing more fun than having him in laboratory, and I even have a place to start where I want to blow something up, so it's perfect.
Great.
Did you drop that, Cam?
I could not find my phone. Well, I'm just pulling Skype up on another computer. It's going to be a minute and I'm almost there, but this is too good not to pull it up, so I just am finding it.
Yeah, no rush. But yeah, there's so much we could do with this. I'm starting to save capacitors like this. I'm pulling them off old computer parts and whatnot. I've just been taking stuff apart. I still do it. It's not like I've changed since I was 9 years old. I'm doing it for the gold and the precious metals inside now, but I still am taking it. It was practice for this. That's what I was doing.
But did you, like in the old days, like you said, like when you were a 9-year-old, like you always took like every computer that you saw lying on the street, you took it apart, right?
I did.
Yeah. You fucking nerds.
No doubt about it. And the dishwasher and everything like that. Come on.
Yeah, I get it. I understand it, but I didn't do it, but I understand it though. Yeah.
And I had probably like an 80-20% thing of taking things apart and putting it back together on that one. I got them back together right about 80% of the time, but I was not 100%. But boy, it didn't stop me. And it also reminded me of a story when my son was 4 years old, and this is a true story. And I was talking to like a gifted program on things he could do with that, and it's like, you know, he figured out at a very early age he could run things in series. So he'd like to originate a sound somewhere and see how many TVs, computers, and that he could remote into or connect up along the way and have it broadcast through. And at a very young age, the more pieces he could put between the front and the end, the happier he was. And so I was explaining that, like, I think this is really pretty amazing. And she looked at me with the dirtiest look, put her hands on her hips and said, "And you let him do that?" I knew it wasn't the right school for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty definite. Yeah, at that moment. Wow. Yeah, that's so beautiful, right? Actually.
Well, yeah, child's wonder. I mean, how are you going to stifle a child's wonder?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
He wanted to know how everything worked and say, if it works like that, then it should work this way. And that's not what we want them to do. I am confused.
I mean, he got to work things in series, right? I mean, that was his passion.
He was like 3 and 4 years old at the time. I mean,
yeah.
I thought that was amazing that that like he wanted to know these things. And the child's mind, they're so bright. And we treat them like children instead of like respecting the wonder. Mm. Oh, you don't know anything. Don't do that. Stay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Zach, I don't know what I got myself into, because it's not like in the Iron Realm chat, we don't post a lot of videos.
Yeah, we could be here for hours.
We could be here for hours. And
it only feels a bit like Iron Chat because all you guys are here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we posted songs. We posted. Oh, that's hysterical. That is hysterical.
Well, we'll save that one for next week, and if you find it, just reshare it with me.
Yeah, when I find it, you're going to like smack me that I didn't share it to you in the first place, because I really thought you had seen it. So, yeah. You know what? Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah, we even have more than one chat here, so it's crazy.
Well, so I think we're about going to wrap it up here, folks. Voy, thank you so much, brother, for dropping in, sharing your wisdom with us.
Yeah, thanks. No, the other way around. I mean, it's the other way around. I'd like to hang around with you guys, and yeah,
you're always welcome, man. Please come and join every Saturday if you like. Well, we're going to be here.
Sounds cool to me.
All righty. Well, folks, thank you all for joining us. I try to keep these under, right around an hour and a half. I don't want to go too long with them. So I think I'm going to end the show here. We're going to show a video real quick. I showed it at the beginning. I'm going to show it 2 times, as long as Lucas doesn't go mad by me doing this.
No, go.
Yeah, I want to keep. I know it's horrible, but I want to keep pounding this into people's heads that electricity is everywhere in everything, and has a
No,
much
it needs to be. Definitely needs to be.
greater purpose than most people comprehend. It has a greater reach. So this is Walter Lewin, MIT physics professor of 4 decades, explaining to his students in his class his 802 electricity and magnetism course, which you can find on YouTube for free. $27,000 a semester worth of education, free on YouTube here. And you can watch it as many times as you like. But this is him talking to his physics students for the first time about electricity.
Electricity and magnetism is all around us. We have electric lights, electric clocks, we have microphones, calculators, televisions, VCRs, radio, computers. Light itself is an electromagnetic phenomenon, as radio waves are. The colors of the rainbow in the blue sky are there because of electricity, and I will teach you about that in this course. Cars, planes, trains can only run because of electricity. Horses need electricity because muscle contractions require electricity. Your nerve system is driven by electricity. Atoms, molecules, all chemical reactions exist because of electricity. You could not see without electricity. Your heart would not beat without electricity. And you could not even think without electricity, though I realize that even with electricity, some of you may have a problem with that.
If you only know the name, you know nothing. Well, Lucas, thanks for joining me again, man. This was awesome.
Great. Thanks, Cami.
Enjoy your day at the beach, man. Enjoy your vacation that you're taking. I will try not to bug you as much as possible, unless I find
you can
really groundbreaking.
Yeah, bug me as much as you want.
All right. Yeah. And Cami, thank you so much. Your knowledge in this field is just, it's always welcome here. Your knowledge is always welcome in any field, really. But yeah, this was great getting to talk piezoelectrics with you.
This was great, and this has us doing so much more in the next week. And again, so many things to look into from this. Thank you, Lucas. I learned so much every time I'm around you. And Zach, you never failed my brain and make me think harder. Great group, you guys. I really enjoyed this today. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
Anytime you want to come on and share your thoughts, Cam, you know that. You're always welcome here. So, without any further ado, folks, should we go out to little boxes as well?
Absolutely. Oh, that's been on my mind. In fact, I just sent it to somebody. That's so funny, Zach. Synchronicity is happening in so many areas.
So remember, folks, they want to put us into these little boxes. They want to put your mind into a little box and say, don't think outside of this. Kind of like what certain groups of academia maybe call themselves science. If you can't observe the phenomena, then it's not real. Well, I'm sorry, that's nonsense to me. You can't observe a magnetic field line going around a magnet, but you hold it up to a ferrocell and there it is. So things are real even though you can't see them with our limited human senses. As amazing as they are, we only see 7% of the light spectrum, So what else are we missing out there? I just want people to start thinking outside that box. Don't live in that little box they want you to live in. There's so much more outside the box.
Little box boxes on the hillside. Little boxes made of ticky-tack. Little boxes on the hillside. Little boxes all the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And the people in the houses all went to the university, where they were put in boxes and they came out all the same. And there's doctors and there's lawyers and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. And they all play on the golf course and drink their martinis dry. They all have pretty children. The children go to school, and the children go to summer camp, and then to the university, where they are put in boxes. They come out all the same. And the boys go into business and marry and raise a family in boxes made of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same. There's a green one and a pink one and a blue one and a yellow one. They're all made out of ticky-tacky. They all look just the same.
Well, folks, that wraps it up. Try to live outside that box. Go say hi to the rocks, say hi to the trees. Here's an idea. Grab a piece of quartz rock and squeeze it and see if you can feel that electricity you're creating in it. You know, you never know till you try. All this stuff is happening around us at all times, and it doesn't stop. It's always there. Go out there and say hi to nature. And then just listen. It might just say hi back. This is Good Times for All here, signing out. As always, thanks for watching.